for your purpose only we are doing it, no? So first let me tell you the intention behind doing this. The logic is going to be very simple. See, this question paper is a typical example how sometimes without even asking a single direct question also examiner can pose a question. So this paper is a very typical example for that. So that's why we have spent a lot of time in doing all this analysis. So as you might already be aware, ICAI has not yet released the suggested answer. They will take their own sweet time for releasing the suggested answer. But before that, our team has done the analysis and we have developed the suggested answers for them. And apart from that, as you could see this particular document, which contains, see what and all sources we have gathered. So first we have given here from our material where this particular question was present and whether it is there in our study material or not. And along with that, we have also did the analysis. Is it there in any of the RTPs? Is it there in any of the MTPs? Has it been covered in any of the previous examination questions? And also whether it is there in the revision exams. Okay, so this will particularly tell you how, and also guess questions. So this will definitely going to demonstrate how much effort we put in preparation of the guest questions, and particularly how your revision exams are going to get scheduled. So don't worry about it. Worry about the revision exams from the last 2-3 schedules. I'm the one who is preparing the question papers. I generally prepare the question papers for the revision exams, that I do it. So there you could see some questions which are not there in the R material. So here it is a best example. It is not there in the 46 material, but these kind of question I have introduced in one of the revision exams, even though it is not there in our material. So we agree some points which we generally miss out. Some areas we have given it under self-study part, but from that the questions were tested. But at the time when you are attending for revision exams, I have posed a question even from those kind of areas also, even though it is not there in our particular material. So that much effort we put in preparation of revision exams. We get a clear-cut instructions that we should not give a direct question any of the direct question from the material. So we go through all the board material, and particularly when it comes to standards on audit, while giving the question paper for the revision exam, I even go through the auditing pronouncements also. You might have got that bodybuilding book, no? So other than that, any other purpose it will not serve. So particularly when I draft the questions for the purpose of that standards on auditing chapter, there I will even refer to the base of that basic standard, that bare standard. I will go through it once. From there also I will pose you some questions. So this much effort we take in drafting your revision exam question papers, and guest questions also we take a lot of effort. We analyze the last year's question papers, recent attempts question papers, and we do this analysis. Like sometimes our analysis will go even beyond. So we will even do the analysis that if in the guest question we have included something, we will check whether in any of the recent attempts the same question is tested. If we find it out, we will remove it. So these kind of analysis from the multiple perspectives we will do. Then we will decide which question should finally go under guest question. And also we have done lot of work in preparation of this particular material also, 47th. This actually I will show you the reference to the 46th edition of study material. So now whatever things which got missed out in the 46th edition of material, that we have already updated in the 47th material. But in this question paper, we have got even some more new concepts which were not there as a part of our 47th edition of material, that we are keeping in mind. We are making our 48th edition of material even more comprehensive, even more detailed, and we are working in such a manner that it is a one-stop solution for us. So it is already a one-stop solution. We don't deny that fact. Already 47th edition, which is there in your hands, that has been prepared after considering the board material content, after considering RTPs, MTPs, all these things we have considered. It is already a one-stop solution, but we are working on to enhance its quality even further. So still already your batch did not get completed, but we have already started working on the 48th edition of material. So don't worry about it. Whatever content which will be newly added in the 48th edition of material, that will be given to you separately in the form of a supplementary material. You will all get it. So whatever things we have missed out from this question paper, you need not worry about it. It is not there in our material. How we can know about it? Don't worry about it at all. When we do the 48th edition of material, we will do a comparative study between 47 and 48. Whatever has been newly added in the 48th edition, all that will be provided to you in the form of supplementary material. So since this question paper being particularly one of its kind, so that's why we are insisting you to pay the attention, so that you will make appropriate changes to your preparation strategy. At the same time, whenever you are sitting for preparation, you will know how to concentrate on the particular content. So you will also analyze how important that concept is. You yourself will pose a question, how this question can be tested in the multiple ways. So you will become alert, you will become conscious, so you will prepare for the worst. See, always the best strategy which people say is prepare for the worst. Always prepare for the worst. So if the worst happens, we have already prepared for it. No, if the worst doesn't happen, if best thing only happens, but anyhow we have our highest level of preparation already done. So the best strategy always is going to be, particularly for our professional exams, is going to be what? Always prepare for the worst. Okay, so you will take all the necessary steps in your preparation. Keeping that thing in mind, we are doing this complete dedicated session we have allocated to bring before you how the questions were tested and what changes you have to make to your studying approach. So let us without any delay, let us start directly. So this is the first true or false statements. We will have a look at it from true or false statements. So as you could see, as you know already, professional exam, we are writing professional exam, not writing some 10th or 12th exam. So never ever expect a direct question. That is not at all going to happen. Particularly in the auditing subject, it is not at all going to happen at all. And I see in the coming future, attempt after attempt, they will try to even more complicate the subject of audit. They are not going to reduce it. Why? Because the logic is very simple. Today in the society, our chartered accountants audits are getting taken up, scrutinized, and so many allegations we are receiving in the recent times against this audit profession. So I think ICAI has taken a very honest attempt to make this structure very much complex, not in the sense complex in the sense to make it very difficult, but they want to make the students ready at the time of reading only, not from their practical exposure. At the time of preparation only, they want you to be aware of all the topics of the audit. So that's why they are taking all the measures to make this subject of audit even more and more comprehensive. So keeping that in mind, please make the changes to your preparation strategy. Okay, so first, question number 1A, as you could see here, pervasive is a term used in the context of misstatement to describe the effects on the financial statements of misstatements, or the possible effects on the misstatements on the financial statements of misstatements, if any, that are detected by obtaining sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. See, this definition is actually there in our material. In the MM material, as you could see, pervasive definition will be there in SA 705. You will be able to find the definition pervasive. But what they are particularly trying to test here is, hold on for a minute. Yes. So this is where the term pervasive definition, we have already given it as a part of our material, but they have made a small twist in the question. So we know that the misstatement will not be just pervasive only if you have evidence. Misstatement can also be pervasive when we don't have sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. See, here they are telling possible effect. When they are telling possible effect, it covers possible effect when we use this term. When we are not able to obtain audit evidence. But in the question, what they are telling is the pervasive is the term used in the context of the financial statements, or possible effects on the financial statements, if any, that are detected by obtaining sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. See, this one will be suitable for the first part. But when you are telling possible effect, this term will come into picture when we are not able to obtain audit evidence. So this you will be able to answer when you had a detailed understanding regarding different kinds of opinion. So the thing which should immediately strike your mind is, see, disclaimer of opinion we are giving. Why? Because the possible effect being material and pervasive. So we are giving disclaimer of opinion after concluding that misstatement is pervasive, but we don't have evidence. So the misstatement could be pervasive even if there is no evidence also. So that's why this given statement is not completely true, it is half true. Why? Because other half part of the term is missing here, non-availability of audit evidence. So this you will be able to answer, not a direct question actually, it is going to be a bit complicated question, but if you have listened to the classes attentively about this different kinds of opinion, etc., then definitely this would strike your mind. So this statement is going to be false here. Next one. So we have this in 46th edition of material, but not as a direct question, but indirectly after analysis you will be able to get it. Next one. After that, we have something called audit findings and control deficiencies can be evaluated or assessed arbitrarily. Nothing but here there is somewhere when we do the reading in between the lines, there is one sentence in the ICAI sources which says that we have to evaluate audit findings and control deficiencies on the basis of our professional judgment. This is what the original statement in the ICAI sources. But here they are telling that audit findings and control deficiencies can be evaluated or assessed using arbitrarily. Here entire question lies on understanding the meaning of the term arbitrarily. Sometimes they will expect you even this grammar English interpretation skills also. The meaning of the term, the dictionary meaning of the term arbitrary is random without following any structured technique. Arbitrarily means what? Randomly, if you analyze without following any proper technique, just like that, whatever comes to you, that if you verify, that we call it as what? Arbitrarily. Do you think will we evaluate audit findings and control deficiencies in a random manner without following any structured technique? No. What we are going to do, how we are going to analyze it? On the basis of professional judgment. So this question is completely about arbitrary, knowing the meaning of the term arbitrary. So sometimes this out of the context questions also can be tested. So what is going to be correct answer here? Audit findings and control deficiencies can be evaluated or assessed arbitrarily. Clear everyone? See, as you could see, it is not there in the material, but as I was telling, I have posed this as a question in one of the revision exams. In one of the revision exams, I have given a true or false statement, something like audit findings and control deficiencies need not be evaluated on professional judgment. This is what the statement I have tested. So, but might not be a direct question, but more or less related to this sentence or not. I did not use the term arbitrary, but more or less, if you have written the revision exams, you would have got that. So evaluation of responses and control deficiencies had to be done on the basis of professional judgment. Like this one, true or false statements we have tested. So this shows the importance of our revision exams and how much effort we are putting in the revision exams. Clear everybody? So this is one question. Next one, this is a straightforward question. Inappropriate management can override internal controls of any organization. We have a question, we have this statement directly in the material. We have it in our board material also. Like if you go to the chapter risk assessment and internal control, there we'll be able to find it. Just for the true or false statements, I will show you the actual source. We can't do it for all and will not be enough. So if you pay attention here, this particular statement, so controls can be overridden by the collusion of two or more people or inappropriate management override of controls. So same, this sentence has been tested without any modification. This is somewhat a direct question. Next one. Next question. Once the audit plan has been drafted and communicated, it is obligatory on the auditor to follow the same. This also we have revision of audit program. In the first question only, in the nature, objective and scope of audit, we have given a question that, so we have to, once we devise the audit plan, it is it need not be followed as it is. During the course of audit, we might get extra information, change in circumstances or availability of additional information, which might cause our audit plan to be changed. So even this question we have tested in the guest questions also. We have given this concept of audit plan. That question number 1 is there, no? That we have even given it as a part of our guest questions also. So it is even covered in the guest questions. So straightforward question, not at all any complicated here. Now let us have a look at next question. According to Caro 2020, the company auditor is required to state that whether title deeds of all immovable properties are held in the name of the company. See, the point here is they are telling all immovable properties, but other than leased assets you have to mention. What you need to mention? Other than leased assets. Even if you have a look at our material also, that particular thing will be there in the chapter audit reporting. So if we go to that particular topic, when we go to that Caro reporting, so as you could see here, whether the title of immovable properties other than properties taken on lease, we have specifically mentioned that. So this is what the point they are testing. So instead of telling other than leased assets, they have directly told what? Title deeds of all immovable properties are held in the name of the company or not. But in the bracket, we need to mention other than leased asset. So true or false statement. Just they have concentrated on a very minute detail. Generally, we miss it. And whatever has been mentioned in the bracket, that we most of the times ignore it. That we will treat as if that is not required to be read. So even when I ask you to read also in the classroom, some people will intentionally don't read that content in the brackets. So don't we have such a wrong notion, even that the content which has been given in the brackets also going to be important. It might look like an example, but sometimes question will be posed from that examples also. Clear everyone? Next one. SA 520 deals with auditors' use of analytical procedures as substantive procedures and procedures near the end of the audit that assert the auditor in preparation of financial statements. See, this sentence itself will make the entire statement wrong. Do you think auditor will prepare the financial statements? No. So auditor will use analytical procedures for obtaining audit evidence, not for the purpose of preparation of financial statements. This also straightforward statement will be there in our material. So let me take you through that. This one, analytical procedures. So here we have it. To design and perform analytical procedures near the end of the audit that assist the auditor when forming an overall conclusion whether the financial statements are consistent or not. Nothing but to obtain audit evidence. But what is the statement they are testing in the exam? They are telling audit procedures, analytical procedures will help the auditor in preparation of financial statements, not for the preparation of financial statements, but for the purpose of obtaining audit evidence. So just conceptual discussion. So this kind of statements we have even tested in our revision exams also. Next one. So this I might have already explained it, but anyhow let us see it once again. Misappropriation of assets is often accompanied by false or misleading records or documents to conceal the fact that assets are missing or have been pledged with the proper authorization. But in fact, what should be there? Without a proper authorization should be there. Why? Because if you are already having an authorization to pledge the security, why it will come under misappropriation? When we call it as misappropriation, when you are not having authority to do it, but still if you are doing it, then we call it as what? Misappropriation. So the entire statement would have been true, but just instead of that with, we have to replace that with without. Then the entire statement would have been true. So this also is an example how minutely ICAI can test the question. By minute, very minute details also you have to pay the attention. Especially guys, so true or false statements, never ever jump to the answer just by giving one reading. You have to read it minimum twice. Minimum twice you have to read, then only you have to write particularly the answers of true or false statements, and also MCQs. MCQs are going to be damn important. So sometimes we generally come to a wrong conclusion. Read it minimum twice, then come to a conclusion. Clear everybody? So whenever you are reading these kind of lengthy sentences, try to analyze it from multiple perspectives, particularly that with, without, and, or, not. So wherever these terms are there, read as if take out that term. If somewhere in the sentence not is there, so if you take out that not term, how it will look like, read it. That will tell you how the true or false statements can be tested. Okay, next one. So one more last question. Materiality is not always a matter of size. See, it is also a question related to this particular chapter, audit strategy planning and program. There, I think yesterday only we have completed that chapter, no? Not started. Materiality started. So in the materiality discussion, you will have we have completed question number that performance materiality, overall materiality. Yet to start. Concept we have read. So we are about to discuss one more question where we say that sometimes even small amounts also could be material. But what they are telling, materiality is not a matter of size. Do you agree with that statement? Yes. So why? Because sometimes even small items also could be very material. So even we have examples in our material also, direct question they have tested. So just you need proper interpretation of the sentence. Materiality is not a matter of size, which means that materiality doesn't always deal with only big amounts. Only big amounts would not be material. Yes, sometimes even small amounts also could be material. So this is how true or false statements are tested. So by now you might have got a view how or in what circumstances this true or false statements will be tested. Clear everyone? So next one. So now let us come to direct descriptive questions. So this question we have it from the CARO. So CARO applicability we have seen a lot of practical questions also. This is also one such practical question only. And the main thing here is, if you read it, during the year the company also borrowed 55 lakhs each. We have done same illustration. Each means what? From every entity 55. So they are telling during the year the company also borrowed 55 lakhs each from a bank and also a financial institution, which means not all together 55 lakhs. 55 lakhs from bank, 55 lakhs from financial institution. So totally how much it has exceeded? 110 lakhs. That means which has exceeded 1 crore. Same illustration we have done. Somewhat similar to that terminology. So directly 4 marks question without any change, without anything, without any confusion, you could have scored this marks, provided if you have paid attention when I was explaining that practical question. I hope you have done it. Why? Because I made you only to answer. So you would have done it. That I do believe it. So that with that assumption, I am moving forward. Can I do that? Next one. Next thing, 2B. The Tree Limited presented its financial statements for the financial year 21-22 to its auditors for expressing an opinion thereon. The auditor, while carrying out the audit, started comparing various items of P&L accounts of the year under audit with the previous financial years. What is auditor trying to achieve? Nothing but they are telling auditor is trying to study the relationships and doing the comparison. So what auditor is trying to do? He is trying to perform analytical procedures. We have a dedicated chapter called analytical procedures, as I was telling here. See, this question number 1 completely says that you need to study the relationships. You have to do the comparison with the prior periods. But they are not directly telling anywhere in the question analytical procedures. But what they are telling? They are telling auditor is studying some relationships and doing comparison. So what auditor is trying to do? Analytical procedures. Explain in a detailed manner about that analytical procedures from this particular chapter. So just we are supposed to write this question number 1 here completely. So without taking the name of analytical procedures, they are successful in asking the question analytical procedures. Clear everybody? So we have to pay more attention for examples also. This is one more question which highlights that particular matter. Clear and comfortable everybody? So next question, 2C. CAN is an auditor of SR Limited. The auditor expressed his opinion on the financial statements without ascertaining as to whether the financial statements were free from material misstatements or not. In your opinion, whether CAN has complied with the objectives of the audit? No. See, here they did not mention the standard number, but they are asking a question directly related to SA 200. They are telling auditor did not obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statements are free from material misstatements. Which standard got violated here? SA 200. What are the two objectives of the standard? To obtain reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements, whether they are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. If the auditor did not check whether financial statements are free from material misstatements or not, he has violated SA 200 itself. Question number 2 of chapter number 1. What are the objectives of the auditor as per SA 200? Straightforward question. Not a very much straightforward, but where you can easily answer it. Next one. Next question. See, this is something which is out of context, audit of banks, which we will see. See, this question is not there even in the board material. It is not there even in the MM material also. When it is not there in the board material, obviously it will not be there in MM material also. So even in the 47th edition also, we don't have it. Even in the 47th edition also, we don't have it. Now, since we came to know about this, we'll try to update it in our 48th session, 48th material. But anyhow, when I take up the chapter audit of banks, there I will tell you solution for this. What is the solution? I will tell you, but for the time being now, it is pretty much straightforward. It is not there in our MM material. So I think it is wrong here. How? See, just they are asking about drawing power. We will have a theoretical question regarding drawing power, but they ask a question regarding calculation. So even if you don't do the calculation, but if you write some theory part, you will be able to score some 30-40% of the marks. So keeping that in mind, we have given reference here in the revision exams. We ask a theory question, but when it comes to calculation, that we don't have in our MM material, that we even don't have it in our ICAI sources also. In ICAI sources also, just the theory content is there, calculation part is not there. I will tell you when I explain audit of banks how to do this particular calculation. Clear everybody? So this calculation part also we are going to update in our 48th session. You will get it in your supplementary material. Classroom discussion also will be done separately. Next one. Next, 3A. P Limited is a company from business group ABCD and is engaged in the trading of garments. The promoters of the company are promoters and directors of some other group companies also. You have been appointed as an auditor of P Limited. P Limited has entered into various intercompany transactions within group companies which are outside normal course of business. What will be your duties as an auditor? Nothing but this is a question from SA 550. Related parties. We have not yet discussed it. So it is a discussion related to related parties. Nothing but what audit procedure auditor need to perform regarding related parties. The question is obviously there in our material. So we go through that. This one. So in this we have this SA 550. Yeah. So here we have nature of related parties and responsibilities of auditor is there, no? this particular responsibilities of auditor, this is what they are testing. But they did not say related party. They are telling some transactions are there with the known persons. As an auditor, what you will do? Responsibilities of auditor, we are going to write it here. Clear everyone? So similar kind of questions we have even given it in our test your knowledge also. At the end of this chapter, test your knowledge questions will be there. There you will be able to find these kind of questions. Next one. Next question 3B. B Limited is covered under section 135 of the Companies Act, that is corporate social responsibility. What matters other than the amount spent, amount not spent, amount required to be spent shall be disclosed by the company outside activities done by the company. Nothing but what are the disclosure requirements regarding the company regarding CSR expenditure. We have seen one CARO. See, that CARO paragraph is auditor's responsibilities, but they are not asking auditor's responsibilities. What they are asking? Management responsibility to disclose. Nothing but whatever auditor is required to report, those are the only points which are required to be disclosed. Like as we are supposed to disclose whether amount which is not spent within 6 months that is required to be transferred, which is not planned that is required to be transferred to the fund, and whatever amount which is already planned but it is not yet spent, that need to be transferred to a account, special account. So these are the requirements which are required to be disclosed by company. Those points will be verified by auditor. So those points only you can write. But instead of writing auditor has to report, you should write management has to disclose. That's all. Okay. So just that small change you have to make that. But I know obviously when you see the question corporate social responsibility, definitely you will write that CARO reporting requirements only. Let us see how the ICAI will award the marks for this. Whether they will consider it or they will not consider it. So we have to wait and watch. Right. Next one. This question. The newly appointed auditor of BTN Limited wants to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence about whether opening balances contain a misstatement that materially affect current period financial statements. What audit procedure should he perform for this purpose? SA 510. Straightforward question. The only straightforward question which I am able to find it in this question paper. They are asking what audit procedure auditor will perform regarding opening balances, like take the last year's approved financial statements or download the opening trial balance, do the comparison. We have seen one paragraph, no? So straightforward question. And see in how many revision exams we have covered it. In each and every kind of series this question is there. In 1A series, 1C series, 4C series. Nothing but for pre-result one series will be there, post-result one series will be there. So like that different series of exams will be there. In each and every series we have covered this question. What audit procedures you are required to perform regarding opening balances. Next one, 3D. The auditor of HK Limited completed the audit of the company in an automated environment. Management of the company requested the auditor to give an idea about any exceptions observed in the IT environment that needs to be assessed. How the auditor should report. See, this is a question from audit in an automated environment. So in this also one question will be there. How to report exceptions or finding. As an auditor, how you should assess and report audit findings. The same question has been given as a case study. So they are telling as an auditor, see, similar kind of question is there here. In the concept question, if you read this particular concept question and the question given here, more or less the content will be same. Just names of the parties will change. Like here also they say there are certain findings or exceptions and these points are required to be reported. What points you have to keep in mind while doing this reporting. So this tells the importance of going through concept questions. Understood? So why we have drafted concept questions? Purely for this purpose, how the conceptual question can be tested. The answer will remain the same, but way of asking the question could change. So that's why we have given concept question. So the question which has been given here, it will be very much similar to the concept question here. Only what will change? Names of the companies will change. Clear everybody? So once again a direct question. Next thing, 4A. CAB, an auditor of DBF Limited, engaged in the manufacturing and trading of hardware products. While auditing, got aware of some of the secrets of the company. The auditor acted in unlawful way to deceive or gain an advantage over others and has encouraged and assisted directors to do something wrong to commit the crime. Now company has requested you to guide it as to how such acts are covered under Companies Act and what consequences auditor may face. Nothing but they are telling auditor has acted in a fraudulent manner. What consequences he will face? What consequences he will face? Someone can make an application to the tribunal. Tribunal will, if satisfied that auditor has acted in a fraudulent manner, they will pass an order for removal. And they're asking consequences also. He will not just be removed. There will be prohibition on further appointment also. For how many years? For 5 years there will be a prohibition on further appointment. Nothing but removal of auditor by tribunal. Here also observe carefully here. They nowhere use the term tribunal. They nowhere use the term tribunal. They did not even say removal also. In the entire question, you will not be able to find a word called removal. But just what they are telling, auditor has acted in a fraudulent manner, what consequences he will face. What consequences he will face? Removal by the tribunal. That we need to analyze and write that suitable answer. See how conceptually they are testing the question. Next one. The auditor of RMP Limited has identified a fraud that, in his opinion, causes a material misstatement in the financial statements. Management personnel in highest management cadre are associated with manipulation of accounts of the company. Manipulation of accounts in the sense fraudulent financial reporting. But the auditor has not been able to understand as to why this type of fraud is generally committed. So we have one dedicated question in the chapter fraudulent financial reporting. Why fraudulent financial reporting will be committed? For 4 reasons it will be committed. What are they? Avoid the incidence of taxation, to declare the dividend when there are no profits, or to withhold the declaration of dividends when there is adequate profits, or when the managerial remuneration is linked with profits of the company. So these 4 points, if you write 3 marks, you will get. So not that difficult to understand. So as I have told, sometimes all the irrelevant information they will give. But even if you read the last line also, you'll be able to answer. They are telling why this type of fraud will be committed. What kind of fraud? Fraudulent financial reporting. So I think these kind of questions you should be able to answer. Next one. Next question. So SPR Limited has been into the media business since 1990. During the financial year 2021-22, many notices were received by the company for hurting public sentiments, and financial claims were filed against the company. So they are talking about litigations and claims. Immediately what should come to your mind? SA 501. Let us see what else they are telling. As an auditor of a company, you requested the management for arranging the meeting with company's external legal counsel. Management is of the view that such meetings are necessary in some circumstances only. Can you list down those circumstances? That means when you will feel it appropriate to go and meet with the entity's external legal counsel. 3 circumstances: when the risk is a significant risk, when the matter is complex, when there is a disagreement between what management is telling and external legal counsel is telling. So this particular paragraph also will be there here. So this one, this paragraph they are asking, in certain circumstances the auditor may judge it to necessary to meet with entity's external legal counsel. It happens in the below circumstances. They are asking this only, no, in what circumstances you might feel it appropriate to go and meet with entity's external legal counsel. Clear? See, they did not touch any of this aspect. See, all these are generally we treat it as important. How to identify the risk. Once you identify the risk, what you are supposed to do. This paragraph generally we pay very less attention. Even I used to pay less attention. But see, only those areas where we ignore a lot, from there only question has been tested. Yes or no? So this tells the importance we need to be concentrating on even small things also. We should not be leaving it out. Clear everybody? Next. Next question. So after becoming chartered accountant, you have got your first assignment as an auditor of a bank branch, dealing in various types of advances. What are the areas which you will be looking for obtaining sufficient and appropriate evidences for advances? Nothing but what audit procedures you will perform regarding advances. Direct question from audit of banks. We have a direct question here. So we have one dedicated question. What this one. So write about audit of advances of a banking company. But instead of asking it directly, first they have told you are after qualifying your chartered accountancy, you got appointed as an auditor of a bank. Then how you will verify audit of advances? So anyhow, straightforward question. Next one. Next question. Yeah, 5A. CAG, auditor of Sports Limited, while auditing documented all the papers. He retained some of the documents of the company on which he has not worked, along with the documents which were his working papers, saying that as he was the auditor of the company, so he has right to retain all the documents as he may require them for future references. Comment on the action of the auditor. See, this is also part of the question is there in our material. What is audit documentation? What is included? That is there. But particularly here, this question is about, even if you don't work on some documents, still can you retain it as a part of your documentation or not? That is what the question. As per the standard, sometimes you can. When we do a in-depth reading of that auditing pronouncements, you will come to know that sometimes even if you don't work on the document also, still you can exercise right of lien on that document. But this is one particular question which I am waiting for the suggested answer. Why? Because when they say right to retain the documents, it might be related to right of lien also. It might be related to right of lien also, no? So that's why there is a little bit of confusion here. We have to wait for the suggested answer, what they will say. But however, leaving out that other points, you can write basic information regarding audit documentation. What is meaning of audit documentation? What is included? What is not included? You might not get all the 100% of the marks, but you can get 50 to 60% of the marks if you write whatever you know. Yes or no? When I say whatever you know, that doesn't mean whatever comes to your mind. Related matters related to audit documentation, if you write, at least you can score 50 to 60% of the marks here. But anyhow, let us wait for the suggested answer, what they will try to say here. Next one, 5b, proceedings have been initiated against Falls Limited for holding Binami properties under the Binami Transaction Act 1988 and the rules made thereunder, but such property is not recorded in the books of accounts. As a consultant of the company, what will be your advice to the company as far as disclosure requirements are concerned in relation to said proceedings? See, once again, here also the mistake what we do is, the moment we see the Binami transaction, we will write Caro, first clause. So nothing but property, plant and equipment. In that fifth point is that Binami transactions have been initiated. If yes, we need to report it in the auditor's report. That you will write, but the question is not about auditor's reporting, but the question is here also about what things management is required to disclose regarding Binami transactions, Binami properties. So there is a dedicated question which has been given in the updated study material. In the updated study material, they have added this paragraph in the audit of items of financial statements in one of the test your knowledge question at the bottom of the page. So some newly added information is that what disclosure management is required to give when he is disclosing Binami transactions. So this definitely got missed out from our 47th session also, but we are updating in our 48th edition of material, and you will get it as a part of supplementary material. Next one. The approach to audit and the extent of checking are undergoing a progressive change in favor of more attention towards the question of principle and controls, with a curtailment of non-consequential routine checking. See, this question you will come to know once we start discussing audit sampling. Now you will not be able to understand it. But why it is not there in the MM material, I will tell you logic. When you open the study material, some introduction, under that heading some information will be there, no? What kind of information will be there? Some very routine, very general, which we generally feel that it is not at all suitable for questioning. But this question is related to that introduction paragraph. First, some basic introduction regarding chapter they will say no, which doesn't sound logical at all, which will seem very practical. That means which even we also can understand. So keeping that introductory things in mind, which needs to be explained, which we don't expect the thing to come in the exam. So he has taken the first paragraph in the chapter and posed as a question. But it is not such a complicated thing. When I discuss about the audit sampling chapter, you will come to know how we can generally also we can write the answer. Why? Because even though we don't give it in our material, we explain all this information as a part of our classroom discussion. Why sampling is important, I will say. Before explaining what is audit sampling, first I will explain what is audit sampling. Why sampling is required. This question is about why that sampling is required. So even though content is not there in the material, but definitely this will be explained where? In the classroom discussion it will be explained. Clear everyone? But why you did not give the material, sir? We agree to our mistake. We thought since this introduction content has no chance of getting tested, till now we did not see it, it will be tested in the examination. We didn't expect this kind of question, so that's why we did not include it. But explanation part we have done, that I will agree to it. So we agree our mistake here. Going forward, we will ensure even these kind of question also somewhere it will be introduced in the chapters, and you also will get it as a part of your supplementary material. Clear? Next one. Next question, how much time we are left with? 8 minutes. How many more questions we have? I think after this one more question will be there. Yeah. Anyhow, let us see now. 5D. T&Co Chartered Accountants, a partnership firm, is appointed as auditor of Treatment Hospital run by Smile Foundation, a charitable trust. Over and above the receipts of treatment of patients, during the year, trust has received donations from various donors to treat COVID patients and also incurred some capital expenditure for further developments of the hospital. On some of the investment income tax has been deducted. What are the points you are required to consider? See, we have this same question, how to conduct audit of a charitable trust. Each and every item they are telling here, we have a separate side heading. how to conduct, how to verify donations, how to verify capital expenditure, how to verify investment income, how to verify income tax refunds. Let me show you that also. So audit of charitable institution, as you can see, donation income. So what points we need to check regarding donation, that we can see. Investment income, this also they are testing. And also income tax refunds, verifying expenditure, nothing but how to verify the expenditure done by the charitable institution. So all the points are there in our material, but just they have given extra details, that's all. They are telling hospital run by a charitable institution, and these kind of items are there. What points you will try to keep in mind while conducting the audit. Straightforward question from our material. Next one, 6A. D Limited is a company engaged in publishing business magazines. CAPE is a statutory auditor of the company. The company takes the property in barter deals from its real estate customers against the publication of their advertisements. The properties obtained during the year through such barter deals have been considered in the books of accounts based on possession letter only and have been included in the PPE in the financial statements. Good. Till here, lot of information they have given. Nothing but the summary is this: they have bought some property, plant and equipment, but not by paying money as a part of their barter deal, and they have included in the books of accounts. Good. Considering this matter of such importance that is fundamental to users' understanding, CAP has decided to communicate the same in the audit report. He's feeling this matter is fundamental to users' understanding, so he has thought of including it in auditor's report, where he will try to report it. In which paragraph? A matter is there, already disclosed or presented in the financial statements, and auditor thought it is fundamental to users' understanding. He wants to highlight. Where he will highlight? Emphasis of matter paragraph. So here also, as you could see here, without using the term emphasis of matter, they are successful in asking the question about emphasis of matter paragraph. Clear, everybody? Next one. Next question. Internal audit not only analyzes the effectiveness with which the internal controls of a company is operating, but also improves effectiveness of internal controls. Elucidate the statement. Nothing but explain the statement. Nothing but they are asking what will be the objectives of internal auditor, or what will be the functions of internal auditor. We have a dedicated question. Question number 18 in the chapter risk assessment and internal control. Straightforward question, they have tested it. And even if you pay attention to the concept question, similar kind of concept question also will be there. Next one. The senior member of firm, Kaur and Associates, Chartered Accountants, informed to its auditing staff that at the time of audit reporting regarding corresponding figures, when corresponding figures are presented, the auditor's opinion shall not refer to the corresponding figures except in the specified circumstances. What are those exceptional circumstances? This question is from SA 710, which will be a direct question in our material. We have a paragraph with the heading, generally corresponding figures do not refer to previous year figures except in the below mentioned circumstances. Like that, a heading will be there, same in the terminology whatever they have used, that particular paragraph they have tested here. Next one, next question. When the company is working in an automated environment, it is not necessary for its auditor to understand its automated environment, and depends upon professional judgment of the auditor whether gaining knowledge of company's IT system is required or not. Do you agree with it? This is a question from audit in an automated environment. We have their question number 2, which says whether IT will be relevant to the auditor or not. But even from the sentences also they are trying to say the same thing, whether auditor should understand about automated environment or not. More or less similar to what? Whether in automated environment will be relevant for the auditor or not. So just a change in the terminology, but the context is same. Next one, last question. The accountant of CHB Limited observed that amount received from Mr. A has been recorded in the account of Mr. B, and this mistake was found at the time of tallying account provided by Mr. A. What type of error is this? Self-revealing error. In the question number 16 of the fraud and responsibilities of auditor, there I have told you, if you receive amount from one customer but you record it in another customer, this will be automatically identified. But what the mistake major students will do is, the moment they read this, they write about teaming and leading. You write about what? Teaming and leading. So whatever you told is correct, but you miss out the term error here. If they would have told fraud, then we would have written about what? Teaming and leading. Then you will be correct. But here their intention is not fraud. They are testing you about what? Error. And even they are telling this was found out, and this mistake was found out automatically when tallying the statement of account. So this is an error, and what kind of error it is? Self-revealing error, not teaming and leading. But most of the times we jump to that conclusion, it is teaming and leading. It is not actually teaming and leading. It is about self-revealing error. Why? Because in the question itself they have directly told error. What kind of error is this? So we have to write about self-revealing error along with examples. Clear everyone? So this is what the question paper is about. So by this you might have got a clarity what precautions you need to take while preparation. Just mugging up the content which has been given under main questions or CRT questions is not going to help you at all. You need to read the concept question, and from the beginning I am marking so many sentences. This has a chance of getting tested in the true or false statement. In every chapter I think I have marked. So those questions what you are supposed to do is, as I have told, by removing what if here not is there, what if here terms are replaced, in place of and what if or is there. So this kind of questions you have to pose to yourself, and along with that at the end of the chapter test your knowledge. I don't know how many of you are going through that test your knowledge. At the end of the chapter, whatever test your knowledge questions are there, that you try to solve it. See, the more you solve it, the more you will get this analytical skills, how to analyze a given question and link it with the proper answer. With that intentionally we have given it at the end of the chapter. If we give it behind the same question, you will automatically know. Why? Because we have that perception already. So in order to not get aware, this question is from which particular topic, so that you will apply your mind from this chapter which question it is related to. You will do that analysis. That's why we have given it at the end of the chapter as test your knowledge. Understood? So please refer to that. Please don't miss it out. If you take these steps, that will be enough for you to successfully qualify in the theory paper like this. And one more thing, you have to work on developing your writing skills. See, writing the content is great, but writing the content in a quick manner is even more great. Yes or no? So you have to concentrate on that fast handwriting. And I'm not expecting you to write in a beautiful manner where just by looking at your handwriting people will not give you marks. Why? Because this is not some 10th or 12th exam. So no matter how beautifully you write it, you will get the marks only if you write the content in a correct manner. So but we have to write a lot of content within a limited amount of time. Start practicing that handwriting. That will also help you a lot. Clear? So that's all for today. So we have done the question paper analysis. Discussion we will have it in the next class. Conceptual discussion from the rest of the chapters we'll have it in the next class. Okay, that's all for today. See you again in the next class. Bye.